Your mind suddenly turns foggy for no reason. You've sensed a presence, invisible, yet heavy. This isn't paranoia. This forgotten manual holds the keys to shielding your aura, reclaiming your energy, and fighting back. What you're about to learn is the ancient science of energetic defense used by mystics, healers, and warriors of the unseen. You may have noticed it before, that subtle weight pressing on your thoughts, a heaviness that lingers long after a difficult conversation or a restless night. Maybe you've chalked it up to stress or the world's noise, or just another sleepless evening. But deep down, there's a part of you that recognizes something more, a quiet, knowing that the world is not always as it seems, and that not all battles are fought in the open. It begins quietly. Most people never realize they're under attack because the first blows are almost invisible. Dion Fortune understood this. Psychic influence rarely announces itself with drama. Instead, it seeps in through the cracks of daily life, through fleeting thoughts that seem out of place, through dreams that leave you shaken, through a fatigue that settles in your bones without reason. The real battlefield isn't out there, somewhere in the chaos of the world. It's right here, within your own nervous system, in the silent corridors of your mind and the hidden chambers of your heart. You may have felt it, that sudden shift in mood after a stranger's glance, the inexplicable anxiety that rises for no reason, the way your energy drains after scrolling through endless headlines or stepping into a crowded room. Fortune described this as the invisible war, a conflict most never see, yet almost everyone feels. It's the slow erosion of your will, the subtle wearing down of your inner defenses, until you begin to question what's really yours, your thoughts, your feelings, your very sense of self. Have you ever wondered why you wake up already tired, or why certain places leave you feeling hollow? These aren't random accidents. They're signals, signs that something is moving beneath the surface, testing your boundaries, seeking a way in. The world teaches us to look for threats outside, but the most persistent attacks come from within, disguised as our own doubts, fears, and unexplainable exhaustion. Fortune's wisdom was simple but unsettling. Not every shadow in your mind is your own. Sometimes what you feel is the echo of another's intention, the residue of an encounter, or the silent influence of a presence you can't quite name. You may have noticed how your mood can shift after a single conversation, how your dreams can become battlegrounds, how your own thoughts can turn against you in the quiet hours of the night. This is not a weakness. This is sensitivity, your first line of defense, and your greatest gift if you learn to trust it. Remember the time you felt completely yourself, grounded and clear, only to lose that clarity after a passing interaction or a night of restless sleep. That's not just fatigue. It's the first ripple of the invisible war Fortune describes. Psychic influence begins subtly in the places where your guard is down, in the moments when you're most vulnerable or raw. It's not about ghosts or monsters. It's about energy, intention, and the unseen currents that shape our lives. You're not alone in this. Many have felt misunderstood, dismissed, told to toughen up or ignore what they sense. But what if your sensitivity is not a flaw, but a signal? What if the very things you've been told to hide are the keys to your protection? Fortune believed that awareness is the first shield. To recognize the signs is to reclaim your power, to step out of the fog and into clarity. So as you listen, begin to notice the subtle shifts within yourself. Pay attention to the moments when your energy feels strong and the moments when it feels thin. Notice the thoughts that come and go, the feelings that linger, the dreams that haunt you. This is not just a lesson in defense. It's an invitation to reclaim your power, to become the guardian of your own inner world. The war is real, but so is your strength. And this is where your training begins. You may have felt it already, the sudden exhaustion that follows you without cause, the foggy thoughts that cloud your mind, the obsessive emotions that seem to come from nowhere. These are not just symptoms of a busy life. They are the earliest warnings, the first signs that your energy is being touched by something outside yourself. Fortune called this the wearing away of the will, the slow, deliberate erosion of your inner strength by forces that seek to replace your intentions with their own. It doesn't always look like an attack. Sometimes it's just a feeling of heaviness in the chest, a sense of being watched, a recurring nightmare that leaves you unsettled. Other times it's more dramatic objects moving inexplicably, electronics flickering, or a chill in the air that no amount of warmth can dispel. But most often, it's the subtle things, the way your mood shifts when you enter a certain room, the way your thoughts spiral after a conversation, the way your dreams refuse to let you rest. Fortune warned that the most common form of psychic attack comes not from distant, shadowy figures, but from the ignorant or malignant minds of those around us. Sometimes it's intentional, a projection of anger, jealousy, or resentment. Other times it's unconscious, the result of someone else's pain latching onto your energy. Either way, the effect is the same. Your will is worn down, your energy scattered, your sense of self eroded. You may have noticed how your own habits can make you vulnerable. The endless scrolling, the mindless entertainment, the constant barrage of news and opinions. These are not just distractions. They are openings, ways for your energy to be siphoned away, leaving you feeling empty and unmoored. Fortune believed that the first step in psychic self-defense is to recognize these patterns, to see where your boundaries have grown thin, and to reclaim the ground you've lost. This is not about fear, it's about awareness. It's about learning to see the invisible threads that connect us all, to feel the subtle currents that move through every interaction, every thought, every dream. It's about becoming the guardian of your own mind, the keeper of your own energy, the defender of your own spirit. The invisible war has already begun, but you are not defenseless. You are not alone. And as you learn to recognize the signs, you begin to remember what you've always known, that your energy is precious, your mind is sacred, and your spirit is worth protecting. So notice tonight, as you wind down, the subtle shifts in your energy. Notice the places where you feel strong and the places where you feel thin. Notice the thoughts that come and go, the feelings that linger, the dreams that haunt you. This is where your journey begins. The first defense is awareness. And as you step into this hidden world, you may find that the answers you've been seeking have been waiting for you all along. You settle into the quiet, noticing the subtle shifts in your energy, the thoughts that come and go, the dreams that haunt you. The first defense is awareness. And as you begin to see the hidden world for what it is, you realize not every drain on your spirit is random. Some are the result of forces that move with intention, seeking out the sensitive and the open. The more you notice, the more you begin to recognize a pattern. Certain encounters leave you feeling inexplicably depleted, as if something invisible has reached into your life and taken more than you offered. It's in these moments that the truth of energy parasites becomes impossible to ignore. Dion Fortune called them psychic vampires, but these aren't creatures of myth. They are people, sometimes friends, sometimes strangers, sometimes even those you love, who knowingly or not draw from your vitality. You may have felt it after a conversation that left you hollow, or an interaction that seemed ordinary but lingered in your body as exhaustion or heaviness. These are not just quirks of personality or the cost of being empathetic. They are the fingerprints of a deeper dynamic, one that fortune insisted is as real as any physical exchange. Energy parasites don't need permission. They find their way in through the cracks left by fatigue, distraction, or emotional vulnerability. Sometimes it's a plea for help that never ends, a story that always circles back to their pain, or a presence that seems to fill the room and leave you shrinking. Other times, it's more subtle, a glance, a tone of voice, a message that leaves you unsettled long after you've put your phone down. The effect is cumulative. Each encounter chips away at your reserves until you find yourself wondering why you feel so tired, so scattered, so unlike yourself. Maybe you've noticed how your mood can shift after spending time with certain people, how your thoughts become foggy, how emotions that aren't yours begin to color your day. These are the classic signatures of psychic vampirism. Fortune warned that the most open-hearted are often the most at risk, not because they are weak, but because they are generous with their energy. If you've ever been the one others turn to in crisis, or the listener who absorbs everyone else's story, you may also be the one who walks away feeling emptied. But it isn't always malice that drives this dynamic. Sometimes it's need, loneliness, or pain that has nowhere else to go. The world is full of people searching for connection, for validation, for a sense of being seen. When they cannot find it within themselves, they reach for it in others, sometimes unconsciously, sometimes with a hunger that is hard to refuse. The result, though, is the same. Your boundaries grow thin, your light dims, and you begin to question if you have anything left to give. Fortune's guidance was clear. You must learn to recognize when your energy is being siphoned, and you must honor your own need for restoration. This starts with noticing the signs. Do you feel sudden exhaustion after a conversation? Do you replace someone else's worries in your mind, unable to let them go? Do you find yourself weighed down by emotions that don't seem to belong to you? These are not just the effects of a busy life. They are the evidence of psychic exchange, often one-sided, that leaves you diminished. Awareness is your first shield. When you sense your energy slipping away, pause, take a breath. Visualize a sphere of light around you, gentle but firm, a boundary that allows love and compassion to flow but keeps your core untouched. Fortune recommended simple rituals for clearing your field, a moment of solitude, a cleansing breath, a walk in fresh air. These are not luxuries. They are necessities for those who wish to remain whole in a world that is always reaching. It is also vital to examine your own habits. There are times when, in our own pain or longing, we reach for others in ways that drain them. Fortune taught that true healing comes from within, from learning to generate and circulate your own energy rather than seeking it from those around you. This is not about guilt, but about honesty. When you notice yourself seeking reassurance or validation from outside, ask yourself what you truly need and offer it to yourself first. You are not selfish for needing boundaries. You are not cold for protecting your own spirit. In fact, Fortune believed that the most compassionate thing you can do is to care for your own energy so that you can give from a place of fullness rather than depletion. This is the heart of psychic self-defense, not building walls, but cultivating a field of strength and clarity that allows you to engage with the world without losing yourself in it. Tonight, as you reflect on your day, notice where your energy flowed freely and where it was taken without your consent. Who left you feeling lighter and who left you feeling drained? What patterns repeat and what boundaries need to be strengthened? Begin to honor your own needs, to trust your instincts, and to reclaim the ground you have lost. The world is full of those who hunger for light, but you are not here to be consumed. You are here to shine, to heal, and to protect the sacred flame within you. With each act of awareness, you reclaim a little more of your power, a little more of your peace. And as you do, you become not just a survivor, but a guardian of your own spirit, ready to meet the invisible world with strength and grace. As you become more aware of the subtle energies within and around you, you begin to sense that your boundaries are not just emotional or psychological. There is something more, something ancient and vital encasing you like a second skin. This is your aura, the invisible field that surrounds your body and acts as your first line of defense against the unseen world. Dion Fortune insisted that the aura is not spiritual fluff or wishful thinking. It is your energetic armor, a living shield that reflects your mental habits, your emotional health, and your deepest patterns of stress. You may have noticed how your sense of safety can shift from one moment to the next. Sometimes you feel strong, untouchable, as if nothing could pierce your peace. Other times, a single word or glance can leave you feeling raw and exposed. This is your aura in action, responding to the tides of your inner world and the currents of energy around you. When your aura is strong and clear, you are naturally protected from negativity, psychic intrusion, and emotional overwhelm. But when it is weakened by fatigue, stress, or repeated psychic attacks, cracks can form. These breaks are openings, gateways through which harmful influences can slip inside. Fortune described the aura as a luminous egg of energy, shimmering with color and light. It changes shape and hue according to your thoughts, your mood, and your physical health. A calm mind and a balanced body create a bright, resilient aura. Chronic worry, resentment, or exhaustion can leave it thin and patchy, like a shield full of holes. You do not have to see the aura to know it is real. You feel it in the way your energy rises or falls, in the sense of presence or absence that follows you through your day. Strengthening your aura is not a luxury. It is survival. Just as you would not walk into a storm without a coat, you should not move through the world without tending to your energetic shield. Fortune taught that visualization is one of the most effective ways to fortify your aura. Imagine yourself surrounded by a sphere of radiant light, bright and impenetrable. See this light as a living barrier, repelling negativity and sealing any cracks or tears. Some people find it helpful to picture a bubble of white or blue light, while others prefer the image of a golden egg or a shimmering cloak. The form does not matter. What matters is the intention, the clear, focused will to protect and strengthen your field. You may also notice that your aura responds to your habits. Healthy routines, grounding practices, and mindful breathing all help to repair and reinforce your energetic shield. When you eat nourishing food, rest deeply, and spend time in nature, your aura grows brighter and more resilient. When you neglect your body or mind, the shield weakens, leaving you more vulnerable to psychic wear and tear. There are times when you may sense that your aura has been breached. Perhaps you feel suddenly anxious, irritable, or drained after an encounter. Maybe you notice a lingering heaviness that will not lift, no matter how much you rest or distract yourself. These are signs that your energetic armor needs attention. Fortune recommended simple rituals to seal and restore the aura. One classic method is to stand upright. Cross yourself by touching your forehead, chest, and shoulders, and declare your intention to surround yourself with divine protection. Visualize your aura closing, any gaps sealing with light, and your energy field becoming whole once more. You can also use the power of water to cleanse and strengthen your aura. A shower, a bath, or even a bowl of water held in your hands can become a tool for energetic renewal. As the water flows over your skin, imagine it washing away any negativity, leaving your aura clear and luminous. Salt is another ancient ally in this work. Placing a small bowl of salt in your room or sprinkling a little in your bath can help absorb unwanted energies and restore balance. Your aura is not just a passive shield. It is a living, breathing extension of your soul. It reflects your truest self and responds to every thought, every feeling, every intention. When you care for your aura, you are caring for the deepest part of yourself. You are honoring your own boundaries, your own sacred space. You are saying yes to your own survival and to the possibility of thriving in a world that is often chaotic and unpredictable. As you move through your day, notice how your energy field feels. Does it feel strong, clear, and expansive? Or does it feel thin, patchy, or weighed down? Pay attention to the moments when you feel most protected and the times when you feel most exposed. Use these cues as invitations to tend to your aura, to strengthen your shield, and to reclaim your power. Tonight, as you prepare to rest, take a moment to visualize your aura glowing with light. Feel it sealing around you, whole and unbreakable. Trust that this shield is real, that it is your birthright, and that with practice and intention, you can make it stronger every day. When your aura is whole, you are not just surviving. You are living with clarity, resilience, and the quiet confidence that you are safe within your own skin. As you learn to trust in your aura, you may find yourself curious about the tools that can further enhance your protection. This is where the power of ritual comes into play, not as superstition, but as a practical technology for programming your energetic field. You may have been taught to think of ritual as something mystical or religious, reserved for priests or magicians. Dion Fortune saw it differently. For her, ritual was not about belief, but about alignment. It was a practical technology, a way of programming the aura and communicating directly with the subconscious mind. Ritual is not superstition. It is engineering for the soul. Every gesture, every symbol, every repeated word or movement is a code that your subconscious reads and responds to. Just as your body learns through repetition, your energy field is shaped by the rhythms and patterns you create. Fortune taught that rituals, whether simple or elaborate, help to anchor your intention, focus your will, and align your aura with the forces of protection and healing. You may have noticed how certain actions calm you or make you feel safe. Lighting a candle, drawing a circle, reciting a phrase, or even arranging objects in a particular way. These are all forms of ritual. They signal to your subconscious that it is time to pay attention, to shift gears, to enter a state of heightened awareness. When you perform a ritual with clear intention, you are not just going through the motions. You are sending a message to your deepest self and to the energy field that surrounds you. Symbols are especially powerful in this work. Fortune often used the imagery of circles, crosses, and rays of light to create protective boundaries. You do not have to use any specific symbol. What matters is that it resonates with you and carries the energy of safety and strength. When you visualize a circle of light around yourself, you are telling your subconscious to reinforce your boundaries. When you trace a protective symbol in the air or on your body, you are programming your aura to respond to threats with resilience and clarity. Visualization is another key tool. Imagine your aura as a sphere of light, growing brighter and stronger with every breath. See yourself encased in a blue or white bubble, impervious to negativity. Picture any harmful energy bouncing off your shield and dissolving into nothingness. The more vividly you imagine these defenses, the more real they become to your subconscious, and the more powerfully your aura responds. Ritual also works through rhythm and repetition. Repeating a phrase, a gesture, or a visualization at the same time each day helps to anchor the effect in your energy field. Over time, these rituals become second nature, a kind of psychic muscle memory that activates whenever you need it. This is not about blind faith. It is about training your energy, just as you would train your body or your mind. You may find that certain rituals resonate more deeply with you than others. Trust your intuition. Experiment with different symbols, words, and movements until you find what feels right. The most important ingredient is your intention. When you perform a ritual with focus and sincerity, your aura responds, your subconscious listens, and your energy field becomes more resilient. Fortune also emphasized the importance of cleansing rituals. Just as you would clean your home or your body, you must periodically clear your aura of accumulated stress and negativity. This can be as simple as visualizing a shower of light washing over you, or as elaborate as a full ceremonial practice. What matters is that you are actively tending to your energy, releasing what no longer serves you and inviting in clarity and strength. Ritual is not about dogma or tradition. It is about engineering your own protection, using the tools that speak to your spirit. You are the architect of your own safety, the programmer of your own aura. Every gesture, every word, every symbol is a building block in the fortress you create around your soul. As you deepen your practice, you may begin to notice how the spaces around you also hold energy. Just as your aura can be strengthened and cleansed, so too can the rooms you inhabit. The next step in your journey is to learn how to sense and purify the psychic atmosphere of your environment, ensuring that your sanctuary is truly safe. The process begins with awareness. Pay attention to how you feel in different spaces. Some rooms may feel light and welcoming, while others carry a heaviness that is hard to explain. This is not just about the physical environment or the decor. It is about the psychic residue left behind by emotions, events, and even the intentions of people who have passed through. Fortune called these psychic contagion zones, places where energy lingers and accumulates, sometimes for years. When you enter a space and feel your mood shift or notice a sudden drop in energy, trust your instincts. Your body and aura are sensitive instruments, always reading the subtle signals of the environment. If you find yourself feeling unsettled or drained in a particular room, it may be time to clear the space. Just as you would open a window to let in fresh air, you can use ritual and intention to sweep away stagnant or negative energy. There are many ways to purify a space. One of the simplest is to use the elements. Open the windows to let in sunlight and fresh air. Burn incense or sage to cleanse the atmosphere. Sprinkle salt in the corners of the room or place bowls of water around the space to absorb negativity. Sound is another powerful tool. Ring a bell, clap your hands, or play uplifting music to break up stagnant energy and restore harmony. Visualization can also be used to clear a room. Imagine a wave of light sweeping through the space, dissolving any darkness or heaviness. See the walls, floor, and and ceiling glowing with clarity and peace. As you move through the room, imagine yourself leaving a trail of light, sealing the space with your intention. You may also choose to use ritual symbols to protect your environment. Draw a protective sign on the doors or windows, or walk the perimeter of the space while reciting a blessing. The key is to act with clarity and focus, trusting that your will and your presence are enough to shift the energy. As you make space clearing a regular practice, you will notice a difference in how you feel. Your home becomes a sanctuary, a place where your aura can rest and recharge. The more you tend to the energy of your environment, the more resilient you become to outside influences. Remember, ritual is not about superstition or empty gestures. It is about creating a language your subconscious understands, a set of codes that program your aura and your space for safety, clarity, and strength. You are not just a passive recipient of energy. You are an active participant, shaping your world with every intention, every gesture, every breath. As you continue this journey, you will find that the boundaries between your inner world and your outer environment become clearer and more harmonious. Your aura, your rituals, and your space work together, creating a field of protection that allows you to move through life with confidence and peace. And as you deepen your understanding, you will discover that the true power of ritual lies not in the symbols or the words, but in the quiet certainty that you are safe, you are seen, and you are sovereign in your own life. Yet even as you settle into this newfound sense of sanctuary, you begin to notice that the world's influence does not always announce itself with force or drama. Sometimes it arrives as a whisper, a fleeting thought, or a feeling that seems to arise from nowhere. The most persistent forms of psychic influence are not always the loudest. They are the subtle suggestions and emotional undercurrents that weave their way into your daily life, shaping your mood, your beliefs, and even your sense of self. This is the realm of mental suggestion, the weapon used against you daily, often without your awareness. Most energy attacks do not look like attacks at all. They come disguised as criticism that echoes in your mind, as obsessions that loop without end, as sudden waves of panic that seem to have no clear source. Dion Fortune understood that psychic influence is most effective when it is subtle, when it slips past your conscious defenses and takes root in the fertile ground of your thoughts. You may have noticed how a single comment can linger for hours, how a disapproving glance can plant seeds of self-doubt, or how a passing headline can trigger anxiety that feels entirely your own. These are not random occurrences. They are the result of mental suggestion, the deliberate or unconscious planting of ideas and emotions in your mind. The most dangerous attacks are those that convince you to turn against yourself. Mental suggestion works because the mind is porous. You absorb the moods, opinions, and fears of others, often without realizing it. The more sensitive you are, the more easily these influences slip past your conscious awareness. You may find yourself replaying a conversation, obsessing over a perceived slight, or feeling a sense of urgency or dread that has no logical cause. These are the fingerprints of psychic suggestion, evidence that your energetic field has been pierced. The power of suggestion is amplified by repetition. A single criticism may sting, but repeated exposure to negativity can wear grooves in your mind, making it easier for similar thoughts to take root. Over time, these suggestions can become self-sustaining, feeding on your attention and shaping your beliefs about yourself and the world. Fortune warned that unchecked suggestion can lead to a gradual erosion of will, leaving you vulnerable to further attack and manipulation. Awareness is your first line of defense. Begin to notice the origin of your thoughts and feelings. Ask yourself, is this truly mine, or did it come from someone else? Did this anxiety begin with my own experience, or was it triggered by something I read, heard, or absorbed from another? The simple act of questioning breaks the spell of suggestion and returns your power to you. Fortune taught that the mind can be trained to resist unwanted influence. Visualization is a powerful tool. Imagine your thoughts as clouds passing through a clear sky. See yourself as the observer, not the victim of your mental weather. When a negative suggestion arises, acknowledge it, thank it for its message, and let it drift away. The less you engage, the weaker it becomes. You can also use affirmations to reprogram your field. Choose words that reinforce your boundaries, your worth, and your clarity. Repeat them with conviction, especially when you notice the old patterns resurfacing. Over time, these positive suggestions become the dominant current in your mind, making it harder for outside influences to take hold. Ritual and rhythm can help anchor your awareness. Begin each day with a moment of stillness, setting your intention to remain clear and centered. End each night by releasing any thoughts or emotions that are not yours. These practices are not just habits, they are acts of sovereignty, reminders that your mind is your own. It is also important to limit your exposure to sources of negative suggestions. Be mindful of the media you consume, the conversations you engage in, and the environments you inhabit. Choose to surround yourself with people and influences that uplift and inspire you. Protect your field as you would protect your home with vigilance and care. Fortune believed that awareness alone can break the loop of mental suggestion. The moment you recognize an intrusive thought as foreign, it loses much of its power. You are no longer a passive recipient, but an active participant in your own psychic defense. This shift in perspective is subtle but profound. It is the difference between being carried by the current and learning to swim. As you become more skilled at recognizing and neutralizing mental suggestions, you may begin to notice patterns that are more intense, more persistent, and more disturbing. These are the signs of a true psychic attack, an experience that goes beyond ordinary stress or anxiety. The next stage of your journey is to learn what a psychic attack really feels like and how to distinguish it from the normal turbulence of the mind. You may wonder how to tell the difference between a passing suggestion and a genuine assault on your energy. Fortune did not theorize about these experiences. She lived through them. She described hallucinations, sleep paralysis, and terrifying visions, each leaving a unique energetic signature. The challenge is to learn to read these signatures, to trust your own experience, and to respond with clarity and strength. This is the deeper work of psychic self-defense, learning to recognize the invisible weapons used against you every day and reclaiming your mind as your own. With awareness as your shield, you are ready to face the next stage of the journey, where the signs of psychic attack become unmistakable and your power to defend yourself grows even stronger. There is a moment in every journey when you realize that the strength you seek does not come from outside yourself. It is not found in rituals, symbols, or even in the wisdom of teachers. It is forged in the clarity of your own will. The Fortune understood this truth deeply. She called it setting the will, and she believed that psychic defense is built not on borrowed power, but on the disciplined focus of your own mind. Willpower is not the same as stubbornness or force. It is the quiet, steady resolve that arises when you know who you are and what you stand for. It is the ability to direct your attention, to hold your intention, and to maintain your boundaries even in the face of challenge. When your will is clear, your aura responds. It becomes dense, cohesive, and resistant to intrusion. Training the will begins with self-awareness. Take time each day to notice where your attention goes. Are you easily distracted, pulled in many directions by the demands of others or the noise of the world? Or can you choose where to focus, returning again and again to what matters most to you? The more you practice, the more your will becomes like a muscle, strong, flexible, and responsive. One of Fortune's most powerful techniques was to set an intention before sleep. As you prepare for bed, take a few moments to focus on your breath and calm your mind. Then, state your intention clearly. It might be as simple as I will remain protected as I sleep, or I will remember my dreams and wake refreshed. Repeat this intention several times, feeling it settle into your subconscious. As you drift off, imagine a shield of light forming around you, sealing your aura and keeping you safe through the night. This practice is not just for sleep. You can use it at any time when you feel vulnerable or exposed. Before entering a challenging situation, pause and set your will. Affirm your boundaries, visualize your protection, and step forward with confidence. The more you do this, the more natural it becomes. Over time, your aura learns to respond automatically, reinforcing your intention even when you are not consciously focused on it. Warding with willpower is also about clarity. Take time to reflect on your values, your goals, and your desires. What do you want to invite into your life? What do you wish to keep out? The clearer you are about your own truth, the stronger your defenses become. A fractured will create openings for intrusion. A unified will create a field that is nearly impossible to breach. Discipline is essential. Just as you would train your body with regular exercise, train your will with regular practice. Set small goals for yourself, moments of focus, acts of self-care, decisions made with intention. Celebrate your successes and be gentle with yourself when you falter. Every act of will strengthens your field, making you more resilient to outside influence. You may encounter resistance, both from within and without. Old habits, doubts, and fears may arise, challenging your resolve. When this happens, return to your foundation of stillness. Breathe, center yourself, and remember that every challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger. The more you persevere, the more unshakable your will becomes. Warding with willpower is not about shutting out the world. It is about choosing what you allow into your space and what you release. It is about becoming the master of your own energy, the architect of your own experience. When your will is set, your aura becomes a true temple, a place of safety, clarity, and power. As you continue to refine your will, you may notice that your life begins to change. You attract people and experiences that support your growth, and you are less affected by negativity or manipulation. Your sense of self deepens and your confidence grows. This is the true gift of psychic self-defense, not just protection, but transformation. The process of strengthening your will is not a one-time effort, but an ongoing practice. Each day presents opportunities to choose, to focus, and to reaffirm your boundaries. You might notice moments when your will wavers, when you are tempted to give in to old patterns or to the expectations of others. These are the moments that matter most. Each time you return to your intention, you reinforce the pathways of resilience and clarity within yourself. You may find it helpful to create rituals that anchor your will. Lighting a candle, reciting a prayer, or simply pausing to breathe deeply can serve as reminders of your commitment to yourself. These acts do not need to be elaborate. What matters is the sincerity of your focus and the consistency of your practice. Over time, even the smallest rituals become powerful signals to your subconscious, reinforcing your boundaries and strengthening your field. Community can also play a role in supporting your will. Surround yourself with people who respect your boundaries and encourage your growth. Share your intentions with trusted friends or mentors and seek out environments that nourish your clarity. The energy of supportive relationships can amplify your own resolve, making it easier to stay true to yourself, even in challenging circumstances. As your will grows stronger, you may notice a subtle shift in your interactions with the world. You become less reactive, more able to respond with intention rather than impulse. Situations that once triggered anxiety or confusion now meet a field of calm certainty. You find it easier to say no to what does not serve you, and yes to what aligns with your deepest values. This transformation is not about becoming rigid or unyielding. True will is flexible, able to adapt to changing circumstances without losing its core. It is the quiet strength that allows you to remain centered in the midst of chaos, to hold your ground without aggression, and to move forward with confidence and grace. Over time, you will come to trust your own will as the foundation of your psychic self-defense. You will know that no matter what challenges arise, you have the inner resources to meet them. This trust is the ultimate protection, the shield that cannot be breached by outside influence. Every defense the unfortunate teaches ultimately comes back to this essential truth. You are your own temple. The aura responds to ritual and will, but it obeys your truth more. Integrity is protection, and a life lived in alignment is the strongest shield of all. Your journey continues, ever deeper, ever stronger, as you step into the fullness of your own power and become the guardian of your own sacred space. That strange headache after a difficult conversation, the recurring nightmare that returns when you ignore your intuition, the sudden exhaustion you feel around certain people, none of these are accidents. Dion Fortune insists that nothing is random in the world of energy. Every experience, whether physical, emotional, or psychic, is a message from your deeper self or from the energetic environment in which you live. Begin to observe your life as a conversation with energy. When you notice a pattern of discomfort, distress, or disturbance, pause and ask yourself what might be causing it. Is there an unresolved issue in your life seeking attention? Are you picking up on the emotions or intentions of others? Is your environment charged with the residue of past events? Keep a journal of these experiences, noting the circumstances, feelings, and any patterns that emerge over time. The body communicates through pain or illness, the psyche through dreams, intuitions, and subtle sensations. By paying attention to these signals, you can often prevent more serious problems before they arise. A persistent feeling of unease in a particular place may indicate the need for cleansing or protection. A recurring dream may point to an unresolved fear or a lesson that needs to be learned. Becoming fluent in the language of energy does not mean living in fear or becoming obsessed with every minor sensation. It is about cultivating awareness and responsiveness. The more you pay attention, the more you are able to act with wisdom and discernment, rather than being swept along by unconscious forces. Notice how your energy shifts in response to people, places, and events. Patterns will begin to emerge. You may realize that certain situations always trigger the same response, or that your energy shifts in predictable ways around specific people or environments. These patterns are maps guiding you toward the places where healing and growth are needed most. As you follow these clues, you become more attuned to the subtle language of your own field. What you focus on grows stronger. What you ignore may fester or become distorted. By bringing conscious awareness to your thoughts, feelings, and environment, you begin to shape your own energetic reality. This is not about controlling every detail, but about participating actively in the ongoing conversation between yourself and the world of energy. You become less vulnerable to both external attack and internal confusion. You become unshakable, not because you are never challenged, but because you meet each challenge with presence, understanding, and the confidence that comes from knowing yourself. Every signal, every symptom, every experience is an invitation to deeper awareness and more conscious living. Nothing is random in energy. Everything is a signal. And when you finally start seeing it, you become unshakable. But even as you begin to see the signals, you notice new patterns emerging in the quiet spaces between them. Certainty slips away, replaced by the uneasy sense that the conversation is far from over. You find yourself listening for what comes next.